Hey guys, so as you may know, it is June. So you know what that means? It's Scoliosis Awareness Month. Oh, you probably didn't know that. And it's also my birthday month, so I guess that means something. If you don't know what scoliosis is, the Google definition is probably somewhere along the lines of the abnormal curvature of the spine. And the reason I'm talking about all this is because I am a person who has scoliosis or had it. Like, I still have it, technically, I guess. I had surgery a long time ago, so I'm gonna be talking about that. I found out I had scoliosis when I was in like 4th or 5th grade. Pretty much the school was doing, it was like a checkup to see if there were kids who possibly were at the time like developing scoliosis. And the thing that they did was, once they did the test, if something seemed kind of off, they sent a note home to basically suggest that the family should take the student to the doctor just to like double check and make sure everything was good, or if something needed to be done. Basically, that's what they did with me. They sent me a note home. So I went to the doctor and I found out that I did have scoliosis. And because I was so young, it wasn't really that bad yet, but since I was gonna keep growing from that point on, they wanted to prevent it from getting worse. So basically they had to figure out a way for me to have like treatment for it. So treatment for scoliosis usually starts with a back brace, which there's a lot of different types of back braces, but they've all like changed and evolved throughout time. So I don't have the back brace that I used to wear when I was younger, but I can probably put in like a picture or something of what it looked like. It's pretty much kind of like a cast, but removable. Like, it had like Velcro straps. Basically would cover like my torso area, and the whole point of it was to keep the curvature from getting worse. And the thing was that I was supposed to be wearing it 23 hours a day. It was not fun at all. It hurt. Like, because I was like kind of forced, it was like forcing my body contort in a way, I guess. Like, kind of put pressure like on my ribs, especially on this side. And it left a little scar actually. I did not like the idea of people seeing me in the brace, even though like I could just wear it like under a t-shirt. I still didn't want to wear it because it was really obvious, so I only wore it at home. So I did not follow the doctor's orders. And also a thing was that when I was younger, I've always been like really shy, and I didn't like the idea of kids staring at me if I like wore it on the outside of my shirt, and I just didn't want to get all the attention that would come with it, and people asking me questions and possibly making fun of it. I just didn't want to deal with that, so I only wore it when I was at home. Obviously, not wearing it as often as I was supposed to, the curvature did get worse, very like gradually, and eventually, because I would have like checkups every few months, I think, or maybe like once a year, just to see how the curvature was progressing. And eventually it got to a point where my doctors were suggesting that I would have surgery to correct the curvature permanently, because at that point the brace wasn't doing anything, but that was mostly my fault. So surgery was pretty much the only option. And also because if I didn't have surgery, I would most likely either have heart problems or my spine could have punctured one of my lungs. So obviously we did not want that to happen. At the time that I was having surgery, I was 12 and I was in 7th grade, and I didn't really know much of what was going on until after I had the surgery. And I mean, I wasn't really that scared about it. I had no other option, so I think recovery was like the worst part, because obviously I was like asleep during the surgery, and like the thing was that after my surgery was when I found out that I could have either woken up blind or paralyzed or both, just because they were working around like all the nerves, and the place that they were operating was my spine, so that's where all the nerves are, and the spinal cord, and just everything that controls and runs the brain and the body and motor sensory stuff. So obviously they did not want to tell me that before the surgery, because that probably would have scared the crap out of me. While I was in the hospital, I only stayed in the hospital for like 2 days, and while I was in the hospital, I basically had to learn how to breathe and how to walk again. Breathing, it was like they had me use, it wasn't really a machine, it was like a tool. It was like a tube that was attached to this other plastic thing that had a ball in it, and I had to make the ball float or something like that to like make sure my lungs were still working properly and all that. The whole surgery just took a really big toll on my body, and it was just, I just felt extremely exhausted, and all the muscles in my back felt really tense. And right after the surgery, and for a while, I don't remember how long before, but basically it was like I was sitting up straight, really straight, and I couldn't move, so I was like moving around like a robot, and I felt helpless at some point. Like it was just like my parents had to take care of me, I had to have a tutor, because I stayed out of school for like a month or two, I think, but it was junior high, so it was like easy to like catch up, so it wasn't that bad. And then when I went back to school, I couldn't do any strenuous like physical activity, so, and people were really confused by that, because like the only proof that I had surgery was the huge scar on my back, which I still at the time wasn't really comfortable just being like, oh yeah, check it out, bro. I took art instead of PE for a year, so that was fun. Oh, and basically what the surgery was they inserted 2 titanium rods along my spine just to like straighten it out, and they also had like little like screws to hold it in place, and they couldn't put in the rods along my entire spine, even though part of the curvature was also in my lower back, because then I wouldn't have normal flexibility. But like now, the only thing that is physically impossible for me to do is a bridge, like, you know, like when you bend like backwards and do that thing. I can't do that, but I can like work out and just do run, do normal things. Probably not powerlifting or CrossFit. I don't think I plan on doing that anyways. I don't know, the only other thing I have to deal with is random back pain that sometimes it lasts a few days, sometimes it lasts a week, sometimes it only lasts a few hours. And most of it is like soreness, just random. My back gets tired from just the randomest things. It's like I have the back of an 80-year-old woman, no big deal. Well, because the thing is that of the times that I've gone to the doctor for back pain, all they do is tell me to take Tylenol, and they hand me a pamphlet with a picture, with pictures of old people doing things like moving around the wheelbarrow in the garden. Like, this book is supposed to be for old people. It's like with different stretch exercises and stuff. So it's kind of, at this point, I've given up on going to the doctor. Unless it's like really serious and it won't go away, then I'll go. But other than that, I really don't need to. I'm always happy to explain my whole story or whatever whenever people point out my scar and like ask about it. Because usually people were more assholes back in junior high when they would see my scar and be like, ew, that's gross. And I know like they were probably just like kidding, because you know, kids are evil. Nowadays it's more just like curiosity and like, oh wow, that is crazy. Surgery is crazy. But yeah, that's my story. And actually I do have some x-rays from before I had the surgery. For some reason I don't have the ones from after, because I feel like the ones from after look a lot more badass because they have, you know, the rods and the screws and all that. But just to show you what it looked like, it doesn't really look that bad, but like in hindsight my shoulders were probably like that, and just wasn't doing anything good internally. My organs were like, oh no, 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 thank you, no. But yeah, here's what it looked like. Yeah, it was like a S-shaped kind of curve. It was all throughout the back, and also it was my spine was like twisting at the same time, so that was not a good thing. The degree right there represents like just how off it was from if it would have been a normal like straight spine. So it was like 51, the curvature was 51 degrees approximately, and usually they recommend surgery around when you're like in the 40s. So obviously I really needed surgery. So yeah, I just wanted to share my little story and just bring awareness, just because I feel like there still are a lot of people who don't know what scoliosis is, or they confuse it with things like osteoporosis. It's not the same thing. Anyways, thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.